Hi kids. Let's go ahead and let's shade. Well, actually no, it's Leo's turn because it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Leo. We are going to trial a new spread. It's called the Tower. The Tower, yeah. Check the description box for everything you need to know, including how to look up your natal chart. You're probably here because this is your sun sign. The website is an extremely comprehensive place for your natal chart, but we are reading for Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. First, we're going to start with magnetic poetry, followed by the spread using the Paulina tarot, and if I remember, we'll do an oracle card from the Rebel deck. Yeah, I think I might clarify. We'll see how long this goes, but we'll see. So, for Leo, let's see, I have this big giant box. It's a lot. It's a lot. But let's see. Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What are your magnetic poetry messages for the month of August? We're doing this for August, so. So grab a pen and a piece of paper. We'll put these in list format for you so that you can unscramble them as you see fit. Okay. All right. Those are your messages from the magnetic poetry. If you want, you can definitely pause the video. I'll put them down here so your pause isn't in the middle of the screen. And you can go ahead and you can jot those down and figure out if any of those words make sense for you. But those are your magnetic poetry messages. Cool. All right. So let's get started for you with the Paulina Tarot. This deck, it's taken me years to get it to bend. So I'm not bridging it yet. If I do clarify, we'll use one of the tinier decks, either the Sun Moon Tarot or the Deviant Moon Tarot to clarify. I am doing shorts now because you actually need to do shorts every once in a while. If people don't know that, you do. So every once in a while I do put out shorts, but it's actually working for me for once. Excuse me. So I decided on Saturdays I'll be putting out weekly videos, 3 cards or less, or, you know, just a quick draw. You know, and yeah, that's what I'll do. And the cool thing about doing those is I don't have to make sure that I'm camera ready. I mean, honestly, you know, you're getting me like this because I got my house pants on and I got off work and I'm chilling at home. So I'm looking like this because I'm office face. But honestly, the older I get, the less I care about it, you know. Some of you might actually be a little up in your head about your appearance right now. One more shuffle. And if you're new here, Twist for Fairness. This is how we make sure, just on my channel, I don't think anybody else does it, that it's not like, oh yeah, well that one was going to end up in reverse. So I do that. Yeah. And I only take flippers and jumpers, maximum of 3 cards per, you know, thing. So what we're going to start with is, we're going to start with your foundation. What is stable for you during this time, Leo? What is stable for Leo? Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. We've already got the 4 of Swords in the upright with the 8 of Wands in the reverse. I'll show you the cards in a second here. I'm going to take 5. Okay. 10 of Pentacles in the reverse. Or, you know, so what is stable is also your foundation, the foundation of your tower. Okay. Right. Knight of Wands in the reverse. So your foundation. Lastly for you, Leo, your foundation. And the beauty of doing spreads where you have more than one card in one line is you get to read them in series, kind of like a sentence. So that's what I like to do, at least with those. Okay, so we have a flipper and a jumper. So we'll take them, like I said, I do like 3 at a time, right? It's supposed to be 5 down here, but we'll do 6 for you. So we have 4 of Swords in the upright with the 8 of Wands in the reverse, 10 of Pentacles in the reverse, Knight of Wands in the reverse with the 10 of Wands in the reverse, and the 8 of Cups in the upright. So let's talk about it. So for this foundation for you, 4 of Swords, let's read them individually and then we'll kind of get into, you know, the series here. But 4 of Swords in the reverse is a healing time, a time of relaxation, rejuvenation. It's often heralding meditative states, but also at that time, you know, you can think of it like going to a spa, for instance, but it's a time of self-care and a time of being kind to oneself after the pain and heartbreak of the 3 of Swords. This could be the result with this here. This could be the result, and this is how I love doing this, reading things in series. A blocked communication, a feeling that you've been blocked in communicating with someone. And so there's healing and meditating and kind of rejuvenating oneself and resting on the feelings and the pain of the 3 of Swords and that 4 of Swords and coming to a state of healing. When it comes to this blocked communication. You could have also arrived at a decision about blocking communication on somebody else in a meditative state. With this, we also have the 10 of Pentacles. A feeling as if you're disconnected from your legacy also comes from this. So that blocked communication could see you disconnected from your legacy. Also could see you as if you're feeling impoverished in some way, whether that's literal or figurative, depends. But this lack of communication here, and I think it's funny that we're also in Mercury retrograde right now, but we have that like 3 times a year at least. But I feel like this is more, it could be impoverished of time, like somebody's cut off their time, or you're feeling like you don't have time, you don't have the energy to put effort into something, you don't have the money, or disconnectedness from a legacy even, because this is ultimately a realization of a legacy in the upright. But this blocked communication kind of makes you feel as if you're disconnected from a legacy. And you might even be severing ties with something and no longer communicating with something, and doing so out of a feeling or a realization during a meditative state that this is keeping you disconnected from your legacy or robbing you of the potentiality of having time and, well, not necessarily just time, but the luxury of spending time, spending money, spending your energy and efforts on things, right? Moving forward in your foundation, we see here the Knight of Wands in the reverse. Sagittarian card. Our knights are our mutable signs. Typically, if we're going to attribute our minor arcana court cards to individuals, knights are typically seen as our mutable signs. However, at the same time as that's the case, they're also our action-oriented cards. So this is your guy who's Action Jackson. I call him Action Jackson. And he is typically riding in guns ablazing on fire, very inspired, very creative, very passionate dude. But he's in the reverse. And that seems to be troublesome for you. But this is a foundation for you. It's something that you're building your tower on. Is a feeling of there's a lack of passion with a Sagittarian individual. Or, they're not, there's inactivity with them, like normally they would be taking action on things and they'd be doing it from a creative, inspired space. Either this person's not connected with their inner self, or they're just, the word lackadaisical comes to mind, lackadaisical. But also, it's almost as if they are, like that commercial. I don't know how old everybody is, but the commercial comes to mind, what's my motivation? So this guy seems unmotivated or demotivated. Whether we have a dropping of burdens with the 10 of Wands in the reverse, somebody's just decided to drop their responsibilities and their burdens. And in fact, that sense of demotivatedness of this Knight of Wands actually could be manifesting itself as somebody who's dropped their responsibilities, is no longer holding themselves accountable for the things they once did, or could also be unburdening themselves, and that's why they seem so demotivated or aren't taking passionate, inspired action towards something, is because, it's not their responsibility, or it's not their job, or they need to lighten their load in some regard. This is a heavy load, right? Those are a lot of sticks to carry on one's back. In the Eight of Cups here, it really ultimately results in a walking away of sorts, leaving the Eight Cups that do have their contents within them in order to seek out one's own self-worth in the Nine of Cups, to move towards something of greater promise, right? So where one would normally be like, yeah, I got 8 cups. It's awesome. I have this emotional connection that's promising. At the same time, they realize that there is something of greater fulfillment ahead of them. And so they abandon it all. Reading this as a sentence, that's exactly it here, is that there's a feeling that as if one has come to a realization of sorts. A realization of sorts within a meditative state that somebody's not communicating like they once had. And this is your foundation. Normally I would say what is stable, but in this sentence, it seems like it's a great deal of instability. And so this is the foundation of your tower. The foundation of your tower is a realization when one has quieted the mind and went into a rejuvenative, relaxed state, that there's a lack of communication or blocked communication, or somebody's blocking how they really feel and not communicating it outwards, and that they're disconnected from their legacy, or ultimately that they don't have the luxury of wasting time, energy, and effort, or even monetary on something that doesn't want to communicate with them, or they've just shut down because of that, right? But it's a realization during a meditative state. Conversely, it could be that you're healing from that. But again, like I said before, there's demotivation here. This guy is demotivated, the Sagittarian. It doesn't mean it's a Sagittarius. It could be a Sagittarius rising, a Sagittarius moon. But when a Sagittarian individual or somebody with Sagittarius in their chart is passionate about you, you know it, right? But this is a totally demotivated dude. In fact, I would even say lazy in a lot of ways, not taking action towards something. And we see it manifesting in ways where somebody isn't taking care of their responsibilities, but they're even dropping responsibilities that they normally always carried. They're over it. They're done. They're not taking, it's like, I'm done. You're done, son. I'm not taking care of what I once did. I'm unburdening myself. I'm lightening my load. And it could even be that in seeing this and seeing the demotivation in this individual, you're going ahead and you're dropping responsibilities and burdens yourself and walking away. One individual here is walking away, but that's your foundation at this time. Hi, bad news, Ashley here. But that's your foundation at this time. And whether or not these are things that are swirling in your head or realities that are, with you right now, this is what you're building your tower on as we speak. Let's look at your opportunities and challenges. I've got in case you're wondering what I'm looking at, I do this cool thing where I just take some Sharpies and I just take a piece of printer paper and draw out what I want to do. So the next thing we're going to look at are your opportunities and your challenges. Should be 4 cards. Hopefully it's just 4 cards. For you, I might even consider taking 5, but probably not, just 4. And your opportunities and challenges, I'm going to call this the doors and the windows. All right. So I was actually even compelled to shuffle once more. But your opportunities and challenges, what are Leo's doors and windows in this tower during August? Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. It was great until it wasn't. One person is carrying 9 of the wands and the other person's just walking around with 1. I kind of just got that. So I hear things when my ears are ringing. And then sometimes I see pictures. And then sometimes it's just a feeling, just so you know. Okay. Queen of Cups in the reverse. You could be a Cancer, Leo, cusp individual. But looking here that there's a detachedness from the self for somebody as far as their intuition goes. And that could be your challenge, but opportunities and challenges, right? And I called this the doors and the windows because when God opens, closes a door, he often will open a window, right? And so that's one of your challenges potentially because it is in the negative sense of the word. Also, with the Queen of Cups there like that, and I'll expand on it in a moment. It's also, I just want to say this while I'm thinking it. Sometimes it's emotionality to the point of volatility, being too emotional, over emotional, irrational in a way. Saying that you have a feeling or an intuitive sense about something, but going to the point of craziness with it. Let me just look at what that is. How many swords are there? 7? Yeah, 7 of swords. Treachery is the buzzword that comes to mind with the 7 of swords. However, we do have to remember that the 7 of swords isn't always a nefarious card. Sometimes we want to kind of latch onto a certain meaning for certain cards. However, I do want to note that sometimes that guy sneaking away from camp with the swords while the soldiers are sleeping, he's saving people's lives by doing that because those soldiers are going to wake up and they're not going to be able to, slaughter a bunch of people, So you do have to kind of think of it from 2 different sides of the coin. Is he sneaking away from camp with the swords at night to rescue people from the evil soldiers? Hide their weapons from them? Or is he stealing the swords at the to the detriment of the soldiers? Is he, a traitor who really should be sleeping in the camp? Or is he breaking into the camp to take those swords? Yeah, it's all about perspective, right? I'm kind of getting here, and I'm going to say this again while I've just got it. Let's put these down. so you can see. I'm kind of getting here that there's a false intuitive sense. This could be one of your challenges. Actually, there's a false intuitive sense here that somebody is being treacherous and nefarious, and that they're being dishonest and hiding things, or sneaking away, or doing something behind your back while you're asleep in particular. And you're connecting with yourself and trying to say to yourself and convince yourself that it's intuitive. Yet that's not true. Sometimes our paranoia can mask itself as intuition, especially, and maybe paranoia is the wrong word. I don't want to be offensive. Our anxieties sometimes will mask themselves as intuition, especially when they play on loop. So it's important for you to connect with yourself, especially if you're a Leo, Cancer, cusp individual, because this is a Cancerian card. All of our cardinal core cards are attributed to, all of our queens in the minor arcana are attributed to cardinal energies. So this is Cancerian energy. Unless I see something on it, then I'll be like, oh, then that's Pisces or blah, blah, blah. But Cancerian energy. So you may be a Cancer, Leo, cusp individual, more than likely. If that is the case, there could be a feeling as if you are getting these intuitive hits that somebody is being treacherous, doing something behind your back, particularly at night, trying to take something away from you, but I get specifically being dishonest with you at night while you're asleep. But it's not an intuitive hit, it's anxiety. You know, remember, the Queen of Cups in the reverse is somebody who's emotional to the point of volatility. They're irrational in their emotional state. They're not connected with their intuitiveness, whereas here, absolutely, watery, emotional, poetic, you know, highly intuitive, loving, but also knows when to hold back because it's the right thing to do to hold back one's heart energy sometimes. But very giving and generous also. But here we see this as somebody who is hoarding their love, selfish, gives of it freely also in the wrong situations and contexts, and could be themselves sneaking off in the night and being treacherous. But is somebody being treacherous in the night because they're saving somebody from getting slaughtered in the morning when the soldiers wake up and have their sword still? Or is this person, doing something that's going to make it so the soldier doesn't have something to defend themselves with, right? We'll see what the other cards have to say. I think that's your challenge. I don't think that's an opportunity. I do think gaining perspective is an opportunity in this regard, though. Asking yourself, and remember how I said maybe it's not a Cancer card. Do you see the fish there? That's the fish of emotion, but it could also be considered symbolism of Pisces. And remember I said perspective, so we could even think about the Hanged Man in that regard. An opportunity for you to recognize, is this intuition or is this my anxiety? Is somebody doing something nefarious, or are they really saving me from something? Are they stealing from me, or are they saving me? You know? The Queen of Cups in the reverse can also be about somebody who's not at all in touch with their emotions, delusional that they are in touch with their emotions, but they're not. Extremely moody, disconnected from the self, disconnected from the family principle also. Because, Cancer rules the family. That's the family principle is Cancer, the mother principle in specific. But what else? What are your other opportunities and challenges during August? Okay. Five of Cups in the reverse. Your opportunity lies with exercising gratitude. The Five of Cups. What else? Two hit the board, the Lovers. And it's funny because I said 5 cards is what we've got here. The Lovers and the Five of Swords in the reverse. All right. So exercising gratitude for the luxury of choice when it comes to your connections, and that you had an opportunity to choose somebody. Here. Exercising gratitude for what one has, and that one had the ability to choose love. Gemini energy here. Because this is about choosing. In all lives I choose you. But this is the having the choice, the luxury of choice. In the reverse, I would say it would be choosing someone. This is the luxury of choice, the ability to choose. Have gratitude that you had the ability to make the choice to connect with a lover, or an extremely strong connection of some emotional significance. Now, with that, we have the Five of Swords in the reverse. This is the realization of self-deception. In the upright, it would be you're deceiving yourself. You're lying to yourself. Here, it's realizing where one has deceived themselves. That's fairly straightforward. I don't think I have to go on ad nauseum about that. I just want to kind of position these so I can actually fit everything here. But those are your opportunities as well as your challenges, is the fact that you have the ability to choose a lover. But you may deceive yourself in love. And sometimes you have a hard time exercising gratitude, yet at the same time you also have a great capacity to express gratitude and recognize where you should be grateful. Now we're looking at your next steps, your steps on the path forward here. I call this staircases or route markers. This is going to be stuff that you're moving forward with, or things that are going to elevate you in some way. They're going to either lead to the depths or the heights for you during August. For Leo. Sorry, one sec. Okay, sorry. So staircases, yeah. What's leading to your depths or your heights? Next steps for you. Oh, how appropriate. We got 3. Oh, face down. Let's see. That one decided to do what it wanted. 9 of Wands in the reverse, 3 of Pentacles in the reverse, and Page of Pentacles in the reverse. All 3 reversals. So, your next steps. There's a need to not be so defensive in some way, or to... I'm gonna catch some flack for this one, aren't I? Quit playing the martyr. Come out of energy of playing, like, this is also a victimhood mindset, that wounded warrior quote unquote thing where the guy got beat on the head. Look, he's got bandages on him. He's totally up there ready to strike anybody who approaches, and he's been beat to death almost, you know. But, you know, it's time to quit playing the martyr. It's time to come out of that victimhood mindset. Really. This is the heralding of a message to stop playing the martyr, stop playing the victim. in a situation. This is your room marker. This is when you stop playing the victim in a situation, when you stop playing the wounded warrior, when you stop being defensive or on guard. When you can, well, I always see the Three of Pentacles as a union of mind, body, and spirit. But here there is a clear disconnectedness of the three of those. They're not in harmony. But it's also about broken contracts and broken friendships. So when you stop playing the victim or come out of that victimhood mindset, stop being a martyr for a cause, then you'll have the ability to drop agreements, offers, contracts, negotiations that don't suit you, pursue perfect harmony of, the mind, body, spirit connection within yourself. Let go of friendships that don't serve you. Realize and put up boundaries with those connections that don't serve you. This is about a gift. And stop giving gifts, buying, like it's almost like some people who buy friendship. Oh shit, yeah. Buying friendship. Okay. So this is almost somebody who is consistently playing a victim. Stay away from me. Don't touch me. I've been wounded. No one can touch me. Don't get close. You know what I mean? When you come out of this mindset, you will recognize the people who do not deserve your camaraderie. You might even start setting boundaries with people who do not deserve your company. Stop saying yes to contracts and offers that are beneath you. Almost like stop being a yes man. Stop taking every offer that comes your way, professionally or otherwise, with your time, energy, effort, money. But also put boundaries in place with friendships where it seems like you're buying the friendship. You'll stop giving the gifts. Page of Pentacles, time, peace offering, apologizing for things you shouldn't have to, but also this can be gifts with the Page of Pentacles. And so that's the immediate impression I get, is that you'll start putting boundaries in place and stop buying people's time, stop buying other people's energy, put boundaries in place. Like it shouldn't cost anything for someone to want to hang out with you. Which is interesting. I don't understand why that's popping up all of a sudden. Like you had to buy somebody's attention, buy somebody's company, buy their affection, and it puts you in a victimhood mindset. Buy somebody's friendship. Give them little tokens. People should just want to spend their time with you because they want to spend their time with you. But it's also, that Three of Pentacles is also a contracts and offers. It's also, so coming out of a victimhood mindset about, oh, I had to spend all of this time doing this thing and blah, blah, blah. But you're the one who said yes to the offer in the first place. You're the one who signed on the dotted line in the first place. So, you're empowered to say no just as much as you were empowered when you said yes. People oftentimes will exercise the most empowerment. They think they're powerful because they said yes to something. You're more empowered when you're saying no to something. And people don't realize how much true strength it takes to say no to things. It's far easier to have no boundaries than it is to have boundaries. But coming from an empowered space is a lot different, you know, than, yeah, this is, yeah. So that's your, those are your route markers. Those are your staircases that are either going to lead to the depths of the basement for you, or the heights of the balcony for you. So speaking of those, let's go ahead and let's look at, I like this spread so far. This is a good one. I think I did a good job. Depths and heights, the spotlights, either the basement or the balcony. Let's look at that for you, Leo. Okay. 7 of Wands. Here we go again. I think we'll see what the next card is. Is this the basement or the balcony? 7 of Wands, defensive energy. Being on guard. Being apprehensive. Tell us more. It's like after the 6 of Wands. So I'll just show you. After the 6 of Wands of winning, the hero always looks over his shoulder waiting for people to come along and, you know, stab him in the back. He thinks the mob is coming after him, the angry mob coming down the road with the burning, you know, torches and stuff. It's almost foreboding joy is a good name for this card. Foreboding joy. And by the way, what's the best way to combat foreboding joy? With gratitude, right? If you've ever read, what is it? Daring Greatly by Brené Brown talks about that. The best way to combat foreboding joy is with gratitude. So for people who don't know, foreboding joy is like when everything is going so effing awesome and you're like, oh, you know, I just would just, you know, it'd be so destroyed if everything crumbled beneath me. And then you get paranoid about, you know, things crumbling beneath you because everything is going so good. The best way to combat that foreboding joy, just waiting for the other shoe to drop all the time, is with gratitude. You know, which you actually happen to have in your opportunities position, in your doors and windows. So maybe it's your balcony. We'll see. We'll see if it's your basement or your balcony. I really hope it's your basement because, you know, that actually should be a basement card for you. Is where you're sitting there kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop, waiting for the mob with the torches to come along and, you know, put you on a fork. Right? Tell us more. Is it the basement or the balcony? For Leo. There's our flipper. Justice. Okay, there's your balcony. Depends how you're living your life right now, but I figure this is your balcony. So we already talked about the 7 of Wands. That's your basement. You don't want to be in a spot where you're constantly on guard, waiting for the other shoe to drop, defensive as fuck, going, yeah, I won. It was a victory. But technically, it's a victory in vain because now you're waiting for all of the bad shit to happen. So this is your balcony. If you can get to, you will do yourself justice. If you can get to a place where you can then it's like the realization of fairness, justice, and equilibrium, truth, balance, what is fair, what is right, and how you can be right and fair to yourself. This is Libra energy. And yeah, it is that staircase underneath that is really, you know, going to lead you down one of two paths. You either remain in a victimhood mindset and end up taking yourself to a place where you're consistently waiting for that mob to come and, you know, like I said, put you on a fork, come after you, do you wrong, wait for the other shoe to drop with every connection you're in, because you've always bought your connections, or you've always said yes to everything without being discerning, or haven't set boundaries for yourself, or you choose to be discerning. You choose not to buy connections with people. You choose to set boundaries in place. And then you realize fairness. You realize truth. You realize balance. And in turn, justice for yourself, right? Coincidentally, Libra is about the other. So the focus then isn't just about you. The focus is also about somebody else. But it is a give and take. And Librans are famously good at the focus on the other. A lot of the time to their detriment, even though they are about balance. Librans are duality in and of themselves. But it's like when you can actually do that, then you can do yourself justice. And the focus isn't always you putting focus on somebody else. Somebody else can, it can be a give and take. It's not always about who can benefit, like somebody else benefiting from you and their connection with you. Or, you doing something for somebody else, or always saying yes to things and feeling like the one who loses out, or like the dude who got done wrong, or the girl who got done wrong. Key point. That's your flag at the top of your tower. Your crowning achievement, or the main point again. Yeah, the flag. Maybe it'll be a crowning achievement. I think it's more the key point, the big thing that this tower, the very top of the tower. Hoo-hoo. We almost had a death card in the reverse. Fly it. Main point, key point. What is the flag? The red flag. Red flag. Red flag by Billy Talent. Kids of tomorrow don't need today. You got two. Interesting. 7 of Pentacles and 9 of Cups. What are you investing? What seeds are you planting now? Interesting that we have the sunflowers there. That's your flower. With the 9 of Cups. Key point, love yourself. Recognize your self-worth. When you can love yourself, those around you will act in accordance. You'll actually find the people that can't love themselves either, and have no capacity to love other people, they tend to fall off pretty damn quick too. With this, we have that main point of investing appropriately. What you invest now will come out in the wash, essentially, is what that's saying. But know your worth and act accordingly, so that you can have a 10 of Cups, the zenith of emotional connections, quality connection in your relationships, whether it be friends, family, romance, bar none. Bullshit advice, or sorry, no bullshit advice from the Rebel deck. I don't think I'm going to do any clarification for you. I think that 44 minutes is enough. From the Rebel deck for Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Again, happy birthday. Advice for Leo. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What is the no bullshit advice that they need right now to get through August in one piece? Well, I said 3 is the most. Well, it's true. Okay. Get some, give some. Get some, give some. I almost read I will cheer your ass up. Okay. Freudian slip. I don't know. Get some, give some. It will cheer your ass up. And they're talking about love. Okay. You're a hot mess. Fact. Clean yourself up. You look like a shit show. Ew. Okay. Okay. So there's some self-love that's needed here, very clearly. And, fuck, shit is about to get real. Like, you need your people around you. But again, I think what this spread was really saying is make sure they're your people. Yeah. That's what I've got for you, Leo. If you like what I do or it made sense to you, do this. It helps. And also, you can subscribe if you're not subscribed. Cool thing is that, well, at least I know from my own personal forays on YouTube over the years, if you have your subscription settings privately set up, you don't actually need anybody to even know that you're subscribed. So if you're one of those people who's like, well, everybody's going to know that I'm subscribed to a tarot chick, you can totally set up your stuff to not show your subscriptions to other people who see you online. So, and I can't even see a lot of my subscribers because of their privacy settings. So you can subscribe too, and then you can just, always see when new videos come up. But be good to yourself, and we'll see you when we see you next. Okay. Happy birthday.